Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. We have a mixed bag of wonderful for you today. So I think you're going to enjoy it. My intro is going to be very short. I haven't liked how long they've been the last couple weeks, but getting this thing going and kind of took more time to talk about what's going on. This will take just a little bit of time to talk about, but it's important to talk about it. So we got some things going on. This one took me the longest time to put together of all of them because there's so much going on here. Anyway, the first thing you're going to get, and I put the thing that I thought you'd like the most up front, is going to be the Dinah show from 1978. It has Phil Harris on it and Mary Livingstone both getting interviewed along with Rich Little by Dinah. It'll start with Rich Little and then it'll go into Phil Harris, and he actually sings for us. It's awesome. And then Phil Harris gets interviewed, and then Mary Livingstone gets interviewed, and I tried to make it where their pictures kind of lined up with their section somewhat. She mentions her book, or at least her books gets mentioned, and I show you a picture of the book to go with that. And then a piece of this interview, it's all audio, except for there's a piece of it that is video, and it's 4 to 6 minute piece, I think, out of a 40-minute show. And so I really wanted you to get that as well. So I cut that part out of the audio and threw in the video, so you get the video and the audio together. And then it'll flip back and to just show you that you're not missing anything. It repeats just a smidge. The last 5 seconds are repeated again in audio form, and you can see that it picks up where it left off. I just wanted to try and create something that you would enjoy. And then after that, we have the next radio show, which is the third radio show I think we're on, and surviving episode. And this one is just about 20 days after the last one. So we're missing a few, but then all of a sudden we've got this one. It's horrible. It sounds horrible. The, the length is bad. It's only half the show. It's like 15 minutes long. Half of the half that we get is music. And the other half, the whole thing is so staticky, it's just a mess. So I, for the first time, am attempting to get what I can out of it audio-wise, and that's why my new podcast is called Breaking Benny, because I'm breaking him, trying to fix it somewhat. This episode is too far gone for me to truly fix it. I mean, it's going to be the most listenable that it's ever been. You end up with, I cut the songs out and everything, just had this 7 minutes of actual talking and tried to bring that out as best I could. But the problem is, if it's a garble that you can't make out, changing that garble to a clear garble doesn't help much. So there's going to be some of it's clear and some of it's not. You're going to go, I don't know what he's saying. Is he speaking a foreign language? Anyway, what I've decided I'm going to do with these Breaking Bennies one that I try and fix is I'm going to follow them up with the unfixed version so that so no one feels like I'm cheating them out of anything. You can listen to it the way it exists and get what you can out of that. So that's what you're going to get today. And the cool side of it is, though we only have half the episode, the whole thing is in right there, January 22nd, 1933, in and Kathy Fuller Seeley's book, edited by Kathy anyway. Jack Benny and Harry Connor, your writers, of course. And this is the third volume. So we had one, the last one we had was over here somewhere, and now we have this one, and then that's the last of the book. You can see there's not much left. So then we're going to be going into the fourth book that just came out, And so the next few that we'll be presenting will be in that fourth book. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, I think that gave you enough information. You can read along, of course, if you have Kathy's book, you can read along with, with what you're trying to understand and maybe get more understanding of it. There was one beautiful thing that happened that I just loved. It's total happenstance, of course. At the very end of the Dinah show, apparently there was somebody else on the show. It was probably an hour-long show, and 40 minutes of it was these guys, and they were going to have somebody else perform or something. And so she says, this next person is from Canada and things. And then the show ends, and that's it. You don't get to hear that person. But the very next thing you hear is them talking about Canada ginger ale, and so that's kind of dry. So that's kind of fun that it goes right into that. Anyway, enjoy, and we'll see you folks next time. And I hope you're enjoying these shows, and I'll try and make them as presentable as I can, and have additional things that I give you along the way that I think make it interesting. So have a great week.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I didn't want to pay for parking.
I'm just so glad you're here to help me. You're beautiful. Oh, wait. Listen, you remember that? You want to sit down? You remember that great Hello, Rich Heart? I thought you were going to leave me there forever with my hands. That was it. Oh. You mean I read that so well you didn't know it was a cue? I just put my hand to my face.
Well, it's kind of nice. It shows the people that this is live.
I know it. You believe that? Believe that? I'm going to sell you a lot in Florida. Oh, no, I'll sell you one in Malibu right now.
Yes. I have a home in Malibu.
Have you?
I saw it this morning, washed down the freeway.
Yes. Do you remember that great take that Jack said when the crook walked up to him? Remember the mugger walked up to him and said, your money or your life?
Yes. That was supposed to be the longest laugh.
How would other personalities have read that line? Because, I mean, other public figures, because Jack read it so exquisitely.
Well, nobody could get the laugh from that line like Jack could. But if somebody else tried it, for instance, if Jimmy Stewart said it, I wonder if it'd be funny. Ask me the question.
Okay.
I'll do it as Jimmy Stewart.
Your money or your life?
That's a pretty good question. It doesn't matter what I say because I'm now too old to care about it.
Who else would do that?
How about Richard Nixon?
Hey, okay, you want me to give you the line? Okay. Your money or your life?
I am not a crook. I have never been a crook. And I don't have any money. Are you from one of those bus tours?
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
Want me to read the line?
Okay, wait till I get into character here.
Okay. You tell me when. You just... Your money or your life?
Well, actually, neither. I'll give you my brother Billy.
Hey, thank you. I haven't seen you for so long. I really miss you.
That was over 30 pounds ago.
You've lost 30 pounds?
Yes. Well, nearly 30 pounds, about 24, 25.
Did you mean to? You didn't have to for me.
I threw away 3 impressions. Jackie Gleason, Orson Welles, and Raymond Burr.
That's it.
Threw them out of my body.
Out completely.
They're gone.
And
now I'm working on Don Knotts.
And you're getting there.
I'm getting there, right?
You're taping your special here?
I just finished taping my special, which will be on in sometime in May. I'm not sure the exact date.
Do you do a lot of the characters on there?
Yeah.
I mean, outside
it's a show in Washington. It's called Washington Follies, and I'm doing them all. Jimmy Carter. I'm doing all the presidents in this special. FDR, Eisenhower, Truman, LBJ, Kennedy, Nixon, and Jimmy Carter.
You didn't forget Ford, because you were having trouble
Ford,
getting...
yeah,
Oh,
and Ford.
You got him down really good.
Hurt my head doing Ford, 2 takes. But it was a fun special. You know, actually, you were talking about Jack. Everything comes back to Jack, you know, because when you asked me that, I kept thinking about something Jack said a few years before he died, which absolutely broke me up. They said, I forget what show he was on, Jack, are you doing a special for NBC? And he said, listen, I'm not doing a special. I'm doing a television show. He said, to me, a special is when coffee goes from $2.40 to $1.98. Now that's a special. Isn't that funny? That is so typical, Jack.
Sure. When did you first meet Jack?
I met Jack at about 1955. I came down from Canada to do the Judy Garland show. It was my first television show in this country. And the second show was a Steve Allen show. And I was really nervous, my second television show.
Was he on it?
And no, he was in the audience, and I didn't know this.
Oh.
And I started to do my impression of Jack Benny. And as I did it, I kept hearing some guy heckle me, you know, and I thought, oh, this is terrible, you know, gosh, what's happening here? And I'd be doing the look and everything and all the takes, and I'd hear this guy saying, you're doing it all wrong. That's not right. So I couldn't see with the lights, and I said, well, if you think you could do it better, you get up and do it. And I thought, you know, I was a little annoyed by this, and I thought it was just some smart aleck. Well, as he came closer, I looked, I said, it's Jack Benny. I can't believe I've asked him to get up if he can do it better. You know, well, he didn't, but, no,
But he actually
No, you know what he said to me? I'll never forget this. A funny bit. He got up, and I said, well, what am I doing wrong? And he said, well, the inflection is perfect. So the only thing you're doing wrong is that after every sentence, you have me saying, you see, or you know. And he used to do that. He used to say, I just got back from Palm Springs, you see, and I was playing golf, you know, and he used to always do that, you know, or you see. And he said, I never in my entire life have ever finished a sentence by saying, you see, or you know, you see. And I just don't do that, you know. And this is the way he did this bit, you know. He kept putting me on with this, but he always did do that. You see or you know. It was I used to when I used to do them, I used to, as a joke, say that after almost everything. You see or you know.
Did you ever actually perform on a television show or any other kind of show with Jack?
Well, we did a couple of roasts together when we roast, like the Dean Martin roast with George Burns, I think was the one, and I did that show with him, a Steve Allen show. One time we almost worked together. I was performing in Chicago at the Palmer House, and I found out that Jack was doing a show on the second floor, a banquet for some organization, and I was performing in the Palmer House. And when the show was over, I was going to run upstairs and see if I could catch his show. And when it was over, I was still in my tux. I ran up the stairs to the ballroom, and I had to go to the washroom, so I thought I'll just jump into the washroom quickly, and then I'll see if I can catch Jack. And I ducked into the washroom, and while I was in there, I heard a violin coming from one of the stalls. And I listened for a few minutes, and I said, that sounds like Jack Benny. And I said, it's got to be Jack Benny. So I very reluctantly pushed open the door, and there was Jack standing there playing his violin. I said, Jack, what are you doing playing a violin in a washroom in here? He said, well, I got to practice somewhere. And I said to him, how are you doing? He said, well, I must be doing great because I just got a standing ovation from the guy next to me at a very awkward moment.
He's such a cute man.
He could come up with those lines so fast. You know, you'd think he had writers prepare this, you know.
I played golf with him one day, and I leaned over to take a tee out of my shoe. I was getting ready to tee up because he'd won the hole before, and he hit the ball, and evidently it didn't go where he thought it was going to go. And I said, hey, it sounded great. He said, I'm not giving a concert.
I'm not giving a concert.
I know. I never could imitate anybody. We're bringing somebody on now who worked with Jack in radio, and I don't know of anybody who was more adored than Jack in all of our business. And this fellow loves him as much as we do. He's, I guess we're about to meet the original distillery's best friend. Right after this commercial, I'm going to meet Phil Harris right after this.
Terrific.
I'm scared to introduce him. He'll disappear again. As I said earlier, the original distillery's best friend. Please have him here, Phil Harris.
Won't you come along with me? Let's go down that Mississippi. Let's take the boat to that land of dreams. Steam it down the river, down to New Orleans. Bands there to meet us. Everybody gonna greet us. You gonna see the place where the folks all meet. Heaven on earth, Lord, they call it Basin Street. Basin Street is the street where the light and the black folks always meet. It's in New Orleans. That's that land of dreams. You'll never know how nice it seems, just how much it really means. Glad to be. Yes, sirree. Life is free. Welcome to me. That's where I can lose my Basin. You came with me down that Mississippi. You just saw the place Let's all meet heaven on earth, Lord. They call it street.
I want to hear about the street.
About the street.
Oh, wow.
I'm so happy that we're finally more or less eulogizing Jack Benny. That's my man, you know.
Oh.
He was my man.
How many years were you on radio with him?
18.
18 years on radio. How many years on television?
No, I didn't go to television with him because, I don't know, something happened, and Alice and I at that time had our own show, you know, for
that's
a while.
right. Sure.
And so I went on a couple of shots with him, but I wasn't on regular with him. But the 18 years that I spent with him are, as Rich knows, I mean, every time Rich and I'd get together and we did if we'd do a thing, like a little thing with Andy Williams or you or somebody, and we'd dress together, I'd always make him be Jack, see? He'd have to be Jack all the way,
It's so
till
funny.
it came time to pay off, huh?
Then you wanted him to be somebody
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, he's always doing that. Give me a little Jack, Rich.
Yeah.
Make me feel good.
Yeah.
Because Jack could make everybody feel
Oh,
good.
he did.
Yeah.
He's so dear, sweet, and
I never will forget when we used to play those, we played a lot of those March of Dimes things, during the war. And we went to, we were in Europe a couple of times, all through Germany and everything when Clay took over. But here we traveled all around. We played nothing but music halls, and we had a lot of people with us, Ann Sheridan and a lot of big stars. I think you were there on a couple of them. And who's the girl that, what was the girl who played the blind girl, made a...
Jane Wyman?
Jane Wyman and a lot of them.
But it was not blind. She was deaf. She was dumb.
Yeah.
Deaf and
Yeah, whatever it is. But anyway, nobody would ever notice.
It's okay, the story is right. It was Johnny Belinda.
But they would
she
never.
won the Academy Award.
Yeah, but we were all traveling by train at that time, and that's when we used to go back and forth on the Chief, and that's when they found Rochester at Albuquerque, if you remember.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, but anyway, nobody ever paid any attention to us. They'd always want to see Jack, or they'd want to see Rochester. And because Rochester was a pretty cute guy, he was the first guy that I ever saw that wanted to make those things himself, like a plane or a little automobile or something. You remember he ran a horse in the Derby? They haven't found it yet, called burnt cork, but anyway.
It's so funny because your years with Jack were so memorable that people, associate you with Jack and the Jack Benny Show.
He was a beautiful man.
Totally. How did you first get the job?
Well, I tell you, I was in New York, and I had a program of my own at that time with Leah Ray, who is now Mrs.
Sonny Werblin.
David Werblin. But Leah and I were doing a program, Q-Tex Nail Polish, and I was staying at the Essex House, and Mary and Jack were there. So we became very close friends, and then I went on the road. And so I got a wire. I was playing in New Orleans at the Roosevelt Hotel, and I got a wire from George Burns. And Burns was asking me, he said, do you have a program? Would you like to go on with me? And I said, yes, I would. So anyway, they let me off of the contract early, Seymour Weiss, and I get out. And in the meantime, Wayne King had the program, and I went to dinner with Mary and Jack, and Mary was always a big fan of mine because she'd heard me several times in theaters around the country. So I went to dinner with him, I think, at the Trocadero, and Jack said, what program are you on? What are you going to do this season? I said, I don't have a show, and he said, relax, you're with me.
Yeah.
But,
That's
was
a good
great.
way to find out, isn't it?
Yeah, he was great. You know, I did a thing about him, like getting back to where we used to get off the trains and everything. The reporters and everybody would always want to see Jack or see Rochester. And here we are. So we get off one time in Philadelphia. Nobody paid any attention to us. And I'm walking along, and Jack's walking up in front with his riders and all. And this reporter came up to me, and nobody had ever been near me. And they said, "You're Phil Harris, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "How long you been with Jack Benny?" I said, "I don't know, about 15 years. They said, "You got something to say about him?" I said, "Yeah, you can put a dress on him and take him anywhere." And he heard it, and he fell down. You know, he really liked it.
You know, the wonderful thing about Jack is, strangely enough, comedy is a very serious business, but Jack was one of the few comedians who always laughed. You could break Jack up. The things that would break Jack up, and he'd fall down on the floor, laughing, beating the table, hitting the floor.
Good audience.
Yeah, greatest audience in the world.
And all he wanted to do was work, like I was talking to Rich about him before we came on a few moments ago. You know, Mert Blum managed him for years, and Mert Blum was married to Mary's sister, Babe. And then he had another manager before that. But after that, he asked me, he said, "Do you think that I ought to go with Music Corporation of America?" And I said, "Well, yes." But I said, "Make it a point to where you talk to Mr. Stein himself if you possibly can, or at least Schreiber or Wasserman." I said, "Don't let them, you know, because we guys with bands and all, we had to take our shoes off before we could get up on that second floor, you know." So he later went there, but he used to call maybe 2 months before the season was closed, and we did 39 weeks, and he said, "Be sure and get me some work during the summer, because if he wasn't working, he wasn't happy."
He loved to work.
That's right.
He really did. But the trips that he would take, I have a beautiful book here. Can you see this cover, Toby? There. This is a fascinating biography of Jack Benny. It's called simply Jack Benny, but it's more than that. It is a definitive history of American comedy show business, from vaudeville to television, as Jack lived it, and made all of us laugh at it. No one could have filled so many pages so brilliantly as the author, Jack's wife, Mary Livingstone Benny.
Yeah.
Mary says she's not. Love makes you nervous. Look at that glove.
I'm really nervous.
Oh, Mary, just relax.
Yeah.
But this audience should really make me relax. They're a beautiful
Yeah,
audience.
aren't they lovely?
Yes.
Well, they love you, and they love Jack. Was it
Well-
tough to write the book?
Very tough. Because it was, you know, the intimate things that you had to write, you know, and I'd get started, and then I'd write a few pages, and then I'd get kind of a little upset about it, you know,
course.
and put it down, and it took a year and a half, you know.
Sure. A miracle that you could do it in that length of time, because there is so much to recall and so many details, and everybody in the world has his or her Jack Benny story. But you've collected them all in here.
Well,
And
I hope so.
Well, no, I got a few, Mary, that I didn't get a chance to talk to Hickey or you about. I'm in Jack Benny Part 2.
You are.
Please. Because I There are some. Jack Benny did not have any faults, obviously.
Oh, come on, Dinah.
No faults at all. Jack Benny was perfect. That's what this whole book says. Jack Benny was perfect.
Do you know anybody that's perfect?
Jack Benny?
No.
What were Jack Benny's faults?
Well, he had a temper, Phil.
A real one?
He had a little.
A real one, but got over it very fast.
That's
he
funny.
wasn't, he was the dearest, gentlest man in the world,
Yeah.
but he had a temper.
Well, of course, because he knew what he wanted and knew what
That's
he needed.
I don't know, pardon me, I don't know if it was so much temper as...
You didn't live with him.
Or perfection, darling. Well, no, but he wanted perfection,
Naturally,
you know.
he wanted
And
it.
he was a true believer in pace. See, everything had to move. And,
Well, you're talking about the stage. We're talking about
I'm
home
talking
now.
about at home.
well, I wouldn't know about
Well,
that.
that's what I said.
Now, Mary, there's an interesting story that I heard Mary tell Johnny the other night, and it's in the book. You might as well tell him, Mary, about how he happened to hold his hand up to his
Well,
face. I thought,
we worked together on the stage, and we've only been married about a month, I think, you know. And we played some little theater, I don't know where. And the phone kept ringing, and it was for Jack, and Jack would answer the phone and never say he was married. They were married about 2 or 3 months, I don't know. Finally, we played the Orpheum, which was so exciting. The phone rang, and they yelled, Jack Benny, and he walked down the stairs, and I was at the top of the stairs, and I was listening. And he said, well, I'm a little nervous about it. And he said, I'm awfully sorry, but I don't think I can make it tonight. And
just like that. I mean, I don't think I can
I
make
don't
it.
think I can make
He
it
didn't say
tonight.
honey.
No. I'd have killed him. And then he said something else. He said, well, I'll call you later. And when he got up to the top of the steps, I said, who was that? And he said, well, somebody I'd met. And I said, was it a girl? He said, yes, and I took my hand and I scratched his face. And when he went out like that.
But you know, women absolutely adored Jack, and Jack really, he liked women.
Oh, he loved women.
I've got to tell you that he was so nutty about you. There is one funny story that Jack told me, and everybody, I don't know if this story is in the book, but he had been to Australia on one of those trips that Phil was talking about, where there were a lot of, of talent, and the girls, the ladies were always backstage and everything like that. And he came back home to Beverly Hills. And he got there late at night, and he said, doll. He never called her Mary. He always said, doll. I'm so hungry. And he said, fix me some eggs. Now, I don't think Mary knew where the kitchen was. She's not quite sure. And if she did, she wasn't sure which thing was the stove. But she went into the kitchen, and the way Jack told it, and you've told me this too, she had the rollers in her hair, and she had a little cream on her face. And Jack said, she turned me on so. He said, I mean, right then and there on the kitchen floor. Yeah? It's true, isn't it, Mary?
Between the eggs and the buns.
And she never did find out which Bernard.
I don't know the list.
No. Well, it's a lovely story about how you met, though.
Well, we met when I was 12 years old, really.
12?
12 years old. I was living in Canada. I was living in, Vancouver, British Columbia. And every Friday night, my dad would bring all the actors over to the house. He was quite interested in and knew them. And one night he brought one of the Marx Brothers over, and Jack. And I was about 12, yes. And Jack walked in, and he whispered to Zeppo, or I don't know which one it was, a harp or one of them, and he said, why'd you bring me here with all these kids? And I was so angry. This was like a Friday night, and Saturday, I got every kid on the block, and we sat in the front row with newspapers like that. While he was working, And that's the first time I ever met him. And then I met him again, Oh, I don't know, maybe, I don't remember now. I was about 16 or 17 when I met him. And I was working at the May Company. And Jack was playing at the Orpheum across the street, but, you know, I didn't remember him. And a friend of mine was with Jack, and they both came into the May Company. And I was standing at the counter, and Jack walked up, and he said, "Pardon me, could you please tell me where the men's room is?" And I said, "Well, ask one of the floor walkers." Then I saw him again. I hadn't seen him.
You didn't recognize that? You didn't know that was the same person you'd met in Seattle?
No, not till years later when I told him. I said, "You know, I remember when I first met you. Now I got even. I married you."
Yeah. But when you started dating each other, did you have any idea he was going to be the biggest radio star in the world?
Yes.
Did you?
Not radio star, but I thought he was going to be a very big star.
Yeah. Sure. We'll be right back. I'm here with Phil Harris and beautiful Mary Livingstone Benny and Rich Little, who does Jack Benny and everybody else in the whole world. Did you and Jack ever have an argument, Phil?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say we had an argument. We had a couple of little misunderstandings. You know, we used to go to New York every year, and maybe twice, and either to Chicago or Waukegan or New York. And so we used to get on the Chief, and the Chief used to leave at noon. So Bill Morrow and a bunch of the writers and we'd get on early and get all tanked up, you know, because it took about 3 days, you know. Once they left Pasadena, man, you were in the country, you know.
And you didn't want to lose any time.
Well, no, we used to get boxed out and then go to the drawing room and sleep it off, you know, sleep for about 2 days, and then you had another day to wait, you know. And then we'd look forward to getting on the Century, you know, and it was all freebies, so we're stopping at every Harvey house. After we'd go through on the Chief, you couldn't get a bottle of Sauterne in one of those.
Believe it.
Yeah, we had it all. But anyway, I never will forget, I was juiced up real good one time. One time, but I mean, this is when I was trying to taper off, you know. And we're not out of the station yet, see? We're still in Los Angeles, and he comes in and walks back the observation car, and I'm bombed. So I started, then the train started to pull out, and I started going up, and I'm going through these cars, and I mean, I get about 3 cars, and I hear somebody tap me on the back like that, and I turned around, and he looked at me, and he says, "Hey, kid, you keep drinking like that, it won't be funny anymore." So I said, all right. So now I get in an argument with a couple of the writers. And because one of them was writing me out of the funny paper all the time, you know, flat top this and flat top that. So I went to the guy and I said, "Hey, change it, will you, buddy? I'm getting tired myself," because I was getting a lot of money, you know. Everybody was exclusive with Jack. If you wanted to hear Mary or Rochester or Dennis Day or Kenny Baker or Don Wilson, you had to listen to the Benny Show, because unlike his character, I mean, he really turned that money loose. I was making more money than I knew what to do with, you know. And but I got hot at a couple of the writers, and Mary heard about it or something. So one Sunday I wasn't speaking to these writers, so one Sunday she calls Jack, and she says, that's when we're at Vine and Sunset, and she says, come back in the dressing room, and Phil, you come back with him. So the 3 of us went in the room, and Mary said to Jack, she said, let Phil go, because my contracts were all 3-year contracts. All of us were, you know. I mean, what a beautiful thing it was. And so Jack says, what's the matter? And so Mary says, well, he's causing dissension. He's not cooperating. Because she tried to get me to make up with the 2 writers, and I wanted them to apologize to me or something. I don't know. It was very trivial. Anyway, Jack says, well, I'm going to tell you something, Mary. He says, as long as I got a program, he said, Phil Harris is going to be with me. And he walked out. We were rehearsing. Mary walked up close to me, and she says, hey, Phil. She says, I go to bed with him, and you're still going. And I went. The only other time we traveled around, this was very cute. We traveled around. The only other time we traveled around, this was very cute. We traveled around, like I say, with the March of Dimes. We had all kind of important people with us, movie stars. And Jack, you know, you just touch him lightly. You come in like he'd say, I'd get a cue and I'd come in and say, hi, you Jackson, and right into that's what I like about the South, and a couple of lines, and boom, I'm gone. And here comes Ann Sheridan, and we had a show that really moved because he was murder on timing, you know. So now we finally get to Carnegie Hall, and we're playing all these big music houses, and also I get loaded the night before, and I'm in Jack White's on 52nd Street, and I'm with Alice, and I said, wouldn't it be beautiful, because Alice had just made that picture where Tyrone Power kept her waiting at the music hall. What was it? American Broadcast
You don't
or
remember?
something. I didn't.
Well, you were juiced, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, now I'm talking, and they're always talking about me not being able to read music, you know, Jack said and everything. And here I am at Music Hall, in Carnegie Hall.
Oh, yeah.
So I wrote a whole new act.
You did?
That night, but I didn't tell Jack about it, see? So now we get on, and Jack gives me the cue, and I walk by him just like I never saw him before, and I start this thing, and man, it laid an omelet. You have no idea. And I could hear Jack in the wing says, get him off of there. Get a hook, he's hollering. He says, just stay to what you're doing. He says, you're doing a thing, it's going fine. Please leave it like it is. We got a show and it's moving. Now, the next night we're playing Boston. You remember the music hall in Boston? I get on, hi, you Jackson, I do. That's what I like about the South, and the people won't let me off. Now, and Boston's a tough town. They keep going, and Jack comes out, said he'll be back. They say, no, we want him now. They keep applauding, and Jack is standing next to me on the stage, and he says, hey, you keep this up, you're going back to your old act.
Phil, isn't that In Old Chicago? Is that the movie?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, listen to the movie buff there. You remember the first radio appearance? Jack's first radio appearance?
Not really, no.
Don't you?
No.
Because we have a copy of the script, a little teeny piece of the script.
I think it was for General Foods or General Tires.
You know,
what?
I
I can't remember.
Well,
Glico Club, wasn't that the first one?
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry is right.
First show.
Canada Dry.
read this little piece of script in there. It was the Ed Sullivan Show, and it was 1933. That's what
Are you
they
doing
just told
Jack?
me.
He's
They
doing
just-
Jack and you're
he's-
doing-
No, I'm just looking for it in the book.
I see.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jack Benny talking. There will be a slight pause while you say, who cares? I am here tonight as a scenario writer. There is quite a lot of money in writing for the pictures. Well, there would be if I could sell one.
That's great.
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you do Rochester?
Roger, yes, sir, Mr. Benny.
Oh, that's great.
Says here in the paper that women can get into the ball game for half price this afternoon.
Well, fine. Where's that dress that Phil Harris sent me?
And then, of course, was Dentist Day, and I would love to do Dentist Day. Gee, Mr. Benny, a steamroller just ran over your car, and people are walking on it. You know, the thing about doing... thank you, I love the laugh. He always called him Kid, didn't he?
Yeah.
Silly kid,
Silly,
Dennis.
oh, I love
Be
it.
50 years old, is silly kid, Dennis.
Do-
Then there was Don Wilson,
That's
who
right.
just... Jack will be right back, you know.
Mary was responsible for Dennis.
Oh?
Yeah. I never will forget the first day at rehearsal. when Mary saw a picture of him, I think, didn't you? At
Yes.
CBS or someplace when we went out to get him. And he lived in the Bronx, and they used to rush the can, the beer can. There was the family's McNulty, a beautiful family. But anyway, at rehearsal the first day, Jack said something to him, and he said, "Yes, please." And that's all he had to say. Then from then on out, he was typed,
He always listened to Mary. How come you can't do Mary?
Well, you don't do
Have you
that
tried?
many women, do you?
Do Mary.
No.
No, I only do Carol Channing and Jean Stapleton.
Oh.
Are the only two women I
How
do.
about Phil Harris?
Well, how can you do Phil? He can't even do himself. I mean,
Hey, that's some kind of taste.
Jack always took your advice on everything.
Yes, most
He
of
really
the time
did.
he really did, yes.
Your business advice on
Yes.
movies and things like that he was going to do?
I think so, yes.
Like The Horn Blows at Midnight?
No, I had nothing to do with that. No, but I think
Or like
Jack...
a moose needs a hat rack.
Yeah.
You remember that
No,
line?
I think Jack was
Or a Chiswee sandwich?
a chiswee sandwich, yes. I made a lot of mistakes in radio.
Oh, tell him that one, because that's
Which one?
the Chiswee sandwich.
Well, I was supposed to say Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And when it was supposed to be at a counter ordering luncheon. And I didn't know I had said it, and I said, "Can I have a Chiswee sandwich?" And the audience started to laugh, and I didn't know what they were laughing at. That ran for 5 weeks. Jack had put that,
Back into the
back
script.
in some way, yes. He,
the first time I ever met Mary, I guess my impression was pretty good of Jack because she nearly went home with me.
Oh, tell him that story.
Well, she should tell it because I don't even remember it, but...
well, I went with Jack, and he did an Ed Sullivan show. And I was going to go backstage with him and then go sit in the audience. And about, a minute later, I couldn't find him. So I heard Jack upstairs, and I walked up the stairs addressing him, and it was Rich, and imitating Jack. So, really, I never heard it. It's the first time I'd ever met
That's when
Rich
you
Little.
first knew you were good. Oh, what a compliment.
That's a great comment.
First time I'd ever met
That's
Rich.
lovely. Listen, this next lady's from your home country. She's
Really?
from Canada, the other side of it. Yeah. A lot of people there from Canada.
Hey, Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, a half hour of sparkling entertainment by Canada Dry, the campaign of Dingley. Canada Dry is now available in the large as well as the regular size bottle to the home and made to order by the gas at pump. This program starred Jack Benny, the Canada Dry humorist, the Ted Heames Orchestra. Ted Heames opens the program with Roll Up the Carter. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the man of the half hour, Jack Benny. Thanks, Paul. Hello, Canberra Krieger, with the Jack Brisbane Benny, the Earth Jollifer. Coming to you again with some very late news reports. And are they late? I'll never order from that man again. Anyway, these news gems come to you through the courtesy of the Morning Grapefruit, the news that hurt to reach your eye. All the latest factors by wire, telephone, cable, and music. All right, Jack, started. All right, Paul, don't butt in. This is for our class stuff tonight. All right, let's go. Class 30, Annabelle McGowan. And this is Booby here, Mississippi now running on full time. Washington, D.C., President August and 2-week vacation Christie. He settles on EO, but later finds out it's the cart suffers from the depression. Well, they're all about them, folks. This is Jack Zutty Duffy. A London Uter. In economy drive, Dirk of Wales sells his horse and will click in the falls at Niagara this year. Get it? Moscow luck there. 5-year plan ends this month. 7-year it will start immediately. Union Square, New York. Man found dealing himself overhead with club. When asked why he was doing this, he said he was a red and nipped the last beard. Woolfield Column, New York. Short team hanging around Ted Weem's door. What door? That was a wolf's partner. Venice, Italy. 3 pedestrians cross street against red light and are drowned. Mark 3 Chinatown, Warner. 2 Japanese spies found hiding in the Dick Trap Tui. The size is mushroom. Thanks for everything, Jap. Delhi, India. Big blaze starts in business section of Delhi, burning down several Delhi capacity stores. At local, very local, London. Bombay's India. Mahatma Gandhi put on a fruit of flows and is taken for Sid Progress. Erie, Pennsylvania. Eclipse just arrived here. No other news. Glasgow, Scotland. 14 cents collected and big release ride last heat. Driver Grover and people flocking back to city. One flag in Ohio. Perfect midget submits suicide in restaurant by jumping off a 3-decker sandwich. January 22nd, 1901. Marconi invent wireless. January 22nd, 1933. Marconi hears this program and is sorry he thought of it. Paintball, Minnesota. P-skirt is eggs through thin ike and almost wrong. Minnesota. You can get a cool drink and Senator Dry drinks rail as Minnesota Fountain. You sing it, boy. You sing it. Well, we both had to reach for those, huh? Play, Dad, play.
Now we're up to the familiar melody. They don't part the theme song, Echo in the Valley.
The old peoples were beating out the closet and found a manuscript of it matrices. This is entitled, let's see, Mary ducked off the title. Here it is. The name of the play is Bertha the Sewing Recruiter. This famous old play with a tear, a laugh, a heart throb, it devises and no doubt their money back. However, whoever goes back in the day, I might even play as big as Rose's Irish Ray, written by Ann Nicker. Nicker. And you get 5 cents back on each large pound of the drive-by. You better say nickel, did there? You couldn't do that, huh? Now, this play, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl, was a great success in its day, having had set run at one consecutive night in Firth Amboy, another night at Asbury Park, and then directs to the storehouse where it ran over a year. The members of the original company had been dead for over 35 years, so we have our own all-star cast of people, which is as good as the cast in Grand Hotel, we think. As far as what you think is entirely up to you. We have rehearsed faithfully for 5 minutes and will present it to you immediately without the customary break-in out of sound. Here are some of the original criticisms when the play had its premiere in 1890. Livingston's father. Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl is as fine a play as I've ever looked over a print from that. I ain't to liver in fear. Ed Sullivan, Sr., Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl will have you in Spicker. That wasn't bad. I thought of that myself. So. George G. Nason. I saw the play and as I say inserts here. For now... So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviving this play tonight for your pleasure. Remember the title, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl. And meanwhile, Ted Hughes and his boys will play 12th Street Rag. That on candy to the Almeda, get your rifle, Canada Drive in Grill, made the wall by the glass. This way, right here. Right this way, madam. Keep 1 and 3 on the hour. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our dramatic offering, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl. Curtain, music, Ted. As supposed to be a touring machine, folk. Rapidly ease up for an automobile,
Oh, I'm getting sick and tired of the hard work. All I do is work and pile and clear. The sewing tool's driving me mad.
Well.
Come on.
I'm sorry, Miss Piggins, that I came to tell you that I must foreclose the motor.
I told you wait a little longer. Sure, you're not going to drive us out into cold night. What a night.
Hey, a little stronger on the rim, fellas.
What a night.
I've waited long enough. I must have the money in 10 minutes to go to foreclose. Look how we close at 4. Remember, 10 minutes. Goodbye.
Oh, what shall I do? What shall I do? Holy Father, he was seen be homeless. through a talk and Daddy isn't home, Reb. Here's some Papa now. Hello, Daddy.
Wait till I come in.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Bade. Or pardon me, Undecided. What are you frying about, Desire?
Oh, I'm so tired of it all. I work hard all day, pushing and scrubbing and whacking and so on and so on and...
What?
Button.
All right, Mary, cut out the drill. What was there?
Claim that I...
Hey, Kruger, stay out of this script, boy.
All right.
Well, Dadder, what have we got for supper tonight?
The nice roast wolf, Daddy.
Roast wolf. You finally met him in, eh?
I suppose you know that the ruler soap man was here today.
You done him with the Lonnie?
He got to give it 10 minutes to pull up or get out.
Hello again, this is Buck Benny speaking. Welcome to the Jack Benny Show from 80 years ago with, of course, terrible sound quality and a questionable script. But that's okay. We get to see where it all started anyway. This is Jack's third surviving episode. This is the very first surviving episode to feature a skit. And skits would become a huge part of the Jack Benny Show and a huge part of radio in general. But Jack was the first person to really bring out the concept of having the banter at first on the show, and then ending the show with a skit. And of course, he served that format brilliantly over the years, and I know we've all come to really enjoy it. Anyway, enjoy this very early performance of the Jack Benny Show.
Never mind the rain, never mind the rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, a half hour of sparkling entertainment by Canada Dry, the campaign of ginger ale. Canada Dry is now available in the large as well as the regular size bottle for the home and made to order by the Grasset Fountain. This program stars Jack Benny, the Canada Dry humorist, and Ted Weems Orchestra. Ted Weems opens the program with Roll Up the Carpet. Get some music on the radio. Don't mind the neighbors who live downstairs. They went out to see a show. Roll up the carpet, push back the chairs, and be sure that all the lights are low. And if the girlfriend, the one who cares, and way back you love her so. When you're feeling tired of dancing, try to find a place to park. Don't do any cozy corners. Take advantage of the dark. Hey, roll out your troubles, roll out your cares, don't forget you haven't got a dime. Roll out the carpet and push back the chairs, you're bound to have a wonderful time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the man of the half hour, Jack Benny.
Thanks, Paul. Hello, Scandal Seekers. This is Jack Brisbane Benny, the Earth Galloper, coming to you again with some very late news reports. And are they late? I'll never order from that man again. Anyway, these news gems come to you through the courtesy of the morning grapefruit, the news that's first to reach your eyes. All the late dispatches by wire, telephone, cable, and stool tickets.
All right, Jack. Start it.
All right, Paul, don't butt in. This is for our cash customers. All right, let's go. Prosperity note. Hannibal, Missouri. Conditions improving here. Mississippi now running on full time. Washington, D.C. President Hoover spends 2 weeks vacation fishing. He catches an eel, but later finds out it's a shark suffering from the depression. Flounder around with that one, folks. This is Jack Benny talking. London, England. In economy drive, Prince of Wales sells his horse and will take in the falls at Niagara this year. Get it? Moscow, Russia. 5-year plan ends this month. 7-year itch will start immediately. Union Square, New York. Man found beating himself over head with club. When asked why he was doing this, he said he was a Red and missed the last meeting. Winfield's Column, New York. Stork seen hanging around Ted Weir's door.
What stork? That was a wolf.
Oh, pardon me. Venice, Italy. 3 pedestrians cross street against red light and are drowned. Mott Street, Chinatown. War news. 2 Japanese spies found hiding in a dish of chop suey, disguised as mushrooms. Darn clever, these Japs. Delhi, India. Big blaze starts in business section of Delhi, burning down several Delhi confectionery stores. That's local, very local, that. Bombay, India. Mahatma Gandhi puts on a suit of clothes and is mistaken for kid chocolate. Erie, Pennsylvania. Eclipse just arrived here. No other news. Glasgow, Scotland. 14 cents collected and big relief drive last week. Drive is over and people flocking back to city. Lunchwagon, Ohio. Circus midget commits suicide in restaurant by jumping off a 3-decker sandwich. January 22nd, 1901. Marconi invents wireless. January 22nd, 1933. Marconi hears this program and is sorry he started it. St. Paul, Minnesota. 3 skaters break through thin ice and almost drown. Paul, Minnesota.
You can get a cool drink of Canada Dry ginger ale at Minnesota Fountain.
You fainted, Paul. You fainted. Well, we both had to reach for those, huh? Play, Ted, play.
Now we offer this familiar melody, Bing Crosby's theme song, Echo in the Valley.
Cleaning out the closet, and found the manuscript of this masterpiece, which is entitled, Mary, dust off the title. Here it is. The name of the play is Bertha, the Sewing Machine Girl. This famous old play with a tear, a laugh, a heart throb, a few hisses, and no doubt your money back. However, it was a great success in its day. I might even say as big as Rosie's Irish Race, written by Ann Nichols.
Nickels, Paul, nickels. And you get 5 cents back on each large Canada Dry bar. You couldn't say nickel, could you? Huh? You couldn't do that, huh? Now, this play, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl, was a great success in its day, having had such runs as one consecutive night in Perth Amboy, another night at Asbury Park, and then direct to the storehouse where it ran over a year. The members of the original company have been dead for over 35 years, so we have our own all-star cast this evening, which is as good as the cast in Grand Hotel, we think. Of course, what you think is entirely up to you. We have rehearsed faithfully for 5 minutes and will present it to you immediately without the customary break-in out of town. Now, here are some of the original criticisms when the play had its premiere in 1890. Walter Winston's father. Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl is as fine a play as I've ever looked over a transom at. Ankle over and see it. Ed Sullivan, Sr., Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl will have you in stitches. That wasn't bad. I thought of that myself. George G. Nathan. I saw the play, and as they say in church, to you. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviving this play tonight for your pleasure. Remember the title, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl. And meanwhile, Ted Weems and his boys will play 12th Street Rag, which is very appropriate. Very appropriate.
Get your ice cold Canada Dry ginger ale made to order by the glass. This way, right here. Right this way, madam. Seats 1 and 3 on the ice.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our dramatic offering, Bertha the Sewing Machine Girl. Curtain, music bed. That's supposed to be a sewing machine, folks. Last week we used it for an automobile, you know?
Oh, I'm getting sick and tired of this hard work. All I do is work and toil and slave. This sewing machine is driving me mad. Who is it?
It's the landlord.
Come in.
I'm sorry, Miss Higgins, but I came to tell you that I must foreclose the mortgage.
Oh, can't you wait a little longer? Surely you're not going to drive us out into cold, cold night. What a night.
Hey, a little stronger on the wind, fellas.
What a night.
I've waited long enough. I must have the money in 10 minutes or else I'll foreclose.
Looks like we close at 4.
Remember, 10 minutes. Goodbye.
Oh, what shall I do? What shall I do? Poor old father. He will soon be homeless. It's 3 o'clock and Daddy isn't home yet. Oh, here comes Papa now. Hello, Daddy.
Wait till I come in.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, babe. Oh, pardon me, I'm the father. What are you crying about, Miss Pryor?
Oh, I'm so tired of it all. I work hard all day, cooking and scrubbing and washing and so on and so on. And
So on what?
so on buttons.
All right, Mary, cut out the joke. Who is there? Hey, Susie, stay out of this sketch, will you?
All right.
Well, daughter, what have we got for supper tonight?
A nice roast wolf, Daddy.
Roast wolf. You finally let him in, eh?
I suppose you know that the real estate man was here today.
You tell him we don't want any?
He said he'd give us 10 minutes to pay up or get out.
You lose.